Hey people, we're back here with another Raw review, and we're reviewing a bad one. So, of course, major things happen. This was a go-home show for Hell in a Cell. Yes, this is the final Monday Night Raw until Hell in a Cell. Moving this to an October doesn't even sell justice. I don't think they'll also have the best build anyway. They have at least probably 3 Hell in a Cell matches with the bare minimum of under a month of build. At least some of them, or at least rematches from Hell in a Cell. I mean, from WrestleMania Backlash, and none of them have the bare minimum of drama to get me invested for a top of the line match stipulation like Hell in a Cell. And they still open the show compensating for relevance with a dumbass beat the clock challenge and trying to force over Nikki Cross to be in the top card scene. She won via countout, by the way, over getting barrel tossed off the outside and Charlotte taking too much time to mock the women's champion. Like, over the consistency of losing to this chick every single week, you think there would be... I shouldn't be underestimating my opponent. And she just loses again. Ugh. It makes Charlotte looks retarded, going in with very little momentum in a feud involving 2 heels, by the way. If they make this a Hell in a Cell match, I will cut something, because there's something completely stupid about getting 2 heels a pay-per-view match. Because competently, nobody comes up looking like a star. Rhea Ripley still pushes over these dumbass NXT pay-per-view promos, and Charlotte just comes around still the generic rip-off Ric Flair transgender jobber that shows no essence of being a character wearing the same gear every week and coming up looking like a Sue Bird got breast implants with no charisma. And then we had John Morrison versus Jeff Hardy. You know, an old-timey match. These guys wrestled back in the mid-2000s. Had some good matches back in the day. And then this happened. Morrison sprayed him with the dumbass drip soaker garbage. The funnest part was the entrance with John Morrison. They did an average of back and forth. There was a kick. Cedric came out earlier, even though he lost last week. And then it ended with Morrison winning with the Starship Pain. And then after Cedric with an unnecessary, heartfelt promo saying that I lost to you last week, I want a rematch. He gets a rematch. Jeff won off the Swanton Bomb. Absolutely wasteful just for Jeff to get his win back, making Cedric feel like he just had a 7-minute match for no reason. They're just making Cedric into this quintessential jobber that's like, I'll bitch and moan, and I'll barely do anything. Like, he does one cool move, and that's the Michinoku driver in perfect timing. He sells average, but he has, like, no essence of a personality. Then we had the return of Eva Marie. People keep saying debut, it's the return. And, of course, her shtick is obvious because, you know, she's a heel, made well. Her whole thing is that she's a good-looking eye candy that doesn't want to wrestle. So she made, like, Jigglypuff or Janempa from Dragon Ball Z, Piper Nevins, come around doing, she looks like Snorlax wearing wrestling gear. She gives a Michinoku driver to job out Naomi. It's like, for all the Naomi stands, whining, oh, she didn't wrestle. That's her whole shtick from last year. How can you determine, like, any semblance of a bad character? Do you want every boring chick to come out of here wrestle like it's NXT? Eva Marie's doing her job, is condensing heat so when you see her wrestle, she gets her comeuppance. That's how it works. You're just upset because there's huge talk about Eva Marie over her vignettes. She looks good. and she garners attention. Becky Lynch been out for merely over a year, and yet nobody garnered any headlines or any teasers at most of her coming back. No one cares. This is literally so stupid. Freaking transgender Otis won. Technically, it was Eva Marie picking up the victory. And Piper and Evans got a bit too hugged Eva Marie after the win. Then we had RK Bro against the New Gay in a match. And the match itself was immaculate. Inconceivable. Stupid. I hate the entrance. I hate RK Bro and I hate the New Day. We hate everything equally here in the DST show. And trying to actually determine this match being okay would be an understatement. Elevated DDT, a counter off the SOS, a Lost in the Woods. Bro Derek got taken out until Orton got tagged in. Cedric Xavier Woods tries to roll up and do some kind of move, even though it transitioned into an RKO. So at least a cool finish. RK Bro picks up the victory. Later, there would be a segment involving MVP trying to consult with Kofi Kingston, being like, "Well, Kofi Mania's dead, and I'm not gonna say you have to look in the mirror to fail. Who's letting you down the most? You have to just look at your left." So it's obvious that he's trying to put tension away from the New Day. That's the most interesting thing going over on Raw. Like, boring ass show, people. This was a boring ass show. That's why we had to take out the watch along as quick as possible. Because, even though people clown over on 2000s WCW, it's still, sure, it's not good must-see TV, but at the point of trying to garner some attention, they were at least desperate to make every week on Nitro unforgettable. That's why they tried to do the desperate title changes. The outlandish storyline, trying to utilize everybody over to the roster so they can think of something creatively to make sure that there's a reason to watch every week. I can't belittle that. Even though it's bad content, it's still making content. It's trying to make any part of your thing be viral. And Raw's not doing that. We had Asuka against Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley comes around over her interview, trying to be like, shut up. I gotta beat Asuka tonight. And it's like, why are we having these wrestling matches? Why is Morrison wrestling Jeff? I forgot that Sheamus is the United States champion. I forgot he was even on the show after having these crappy one-on-one matches with Ricochet and Ricochet and fucking Humberto. Like, and they still have time for a Miz and Morrison segment. Just absolutely dreadful. And then we had, of course, Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. And the match was as meh if you can take it. The match was going alright as it can. Armbar, drop kick. Asuka went into a cross arm breaker until she got smacked into the barricade. Missile drop kick. Rhea Ripley hit the riptide. Charlotte came for a post-match assault. Cabilla left the Hell in a Cell. That's the drama. This is universe mode shit. It's like you have a random match. The person that you were in a rivalry with is attacking you in a post-match assault to get you ready for the pay-per-view. Like, there's a minimal story other than Charlotte didn't get pinned. I forgot, what's the story into them feuding? Like, there's supposed to be a call over from WrestleMania last year. Like, if there's supposed to be a rhyme or reason why we see people. That's why older fans bitch about why isn't there more storylines. There needs to be a rhyme or reason why people fight, why people conflict. If you don't have that, then you lose people into the story. I mean, you lose people into a match that you're trying to sell. It's not regular boxing or UFC where they're getting more pay-per-view buys than us just with goddamn YouTubers now. It's that bad that pay-per-view buys for boxing for an exhibition bout, two men made over $10 million just off the build-up. You don't hear buy rates like that for WWE, or at least income like that for even big top-of-the-line draws. Because WWE doesn't have anything like that. Yet a YouTuber go the distance with one of the greatest boxers ever do it. And that's making up more headlines than whatever the hell's going to happen in this dumbass on the Cell pay-per-view. With your little milk container bullshit box you call a Hell in a Cell match. Get that away from me. If they actually sell garbage like that, I see that on a Target or a Kmart. I have my own authorization to break that garbage. No child is walking out with that Hell in a Cell toy. You could have done something cool at Hell in a Cell, like add barbed wire around the cage. Hell, add some fake electrical shit. Add something to make sure Hell in a Cell feels a bit more authentic or dangerous. But they don't do that. So you just make it feel less corny. It's called Hell in a Cell, so it's hellish. Oh god, kill me. Asuka faced off against Nia Jax. I'm kidding. It's Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. And the whole thing was Shayna Baszler was abducted in the final segment of Raw. Now Nia, after literally she was just sitting on a swing, they looked up and it's like they're gonna be fighting next. Fucking Steve Wilkos over there doing the bare minimum to show any excitement in this match. At least he doesn't feel like he's piggybacking, but he barely feels like he's like carrying on the segments while they go. Like, you don't get guys with that much of a distinct voice. This is what happens when you get ESPN bitches always be on your commentary table, because they show no distinct different voice. They don't have a way to animate their voice or personality, so it can make it pop. You're not producing sports. You're producing a show. So when you're a commentator, you're supposed to be as a distinct voice as the wrestlers in the ring. Because most of the time they'll be fighting. That's what Don West did. God bless. I know he's in brain cancer right now. Uh, uh, Best of wishes to him. Jim Ross, hell, even Michael Cole, Taz, JPL, Booker T, Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Heenan. They have their own distinct personalities, beliefs, and the way they puncture their voice to make sure that you know them. I don't know who Byron Saxton is. He just looks like he got pegged, he got raped by Medea in any of those dumbass Tyler Perry films, and he enjoyed it. And the new commentator looks like Steve Wilkos, always overdosed on Dayquil. But we have this match. Ugh. And this whole thing was sort of making Alexa dangerous. Like, she would try to keep taking over her legs. Nia Jax always misses over leg drops and or any other moves because Alexa's crazy. It's not contorting with anything that the Fiend does. So why is she consistently with this power garbage? Like, most people were praising over this, and now this is dragged over to force over the women's division, even though this was consulted with Bray Wyatt. But this isn't revolving anywhere, and it's just not moving me with Alexa Bliss. She hits Twisted Bliss later in the match. It ends with Reginald DQing it. So it protects Nia Jax even though she lost to people like Asuka, women half her size before, clean no less. And this match wasn't even for a future title shot. So just having Alexa just lose, I mean just win off DQ, doesn't, even off her own means, doesn't make her feel more dangerous. What was the point of Reginald breaking up over the pin? That makes the match relatively worthless. Because it really wasn't worth anything other than the feud, than feuding with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler over a dumbass doll. Come on, man. You're making, every time, it's like, you know you can't make a show suck this much. Jackson Riker won again against Elias by count. Are you kidding me? You guys are just making all these matches feel invalid unless they're in a rivalry. Yeah, they're not feuds, they're rivalries. They're not storylines, they're feuds. Stop. This is so garbage. So the quintessential point is we broke up, and that's about it. Like, I used to follow you because of your music. I don't care. Jackson Riker looks alright. He looks like a good enough wrestler. But it's just the extent with his character that you could have just pushed him to be a solo act. That's about it. And now he's having these matches that never come out with a finish. It was so garbage. Like all Elias is knee strike, knee strike, knee strike, strike, forearm, bulldog. Riker comes overpowering him and it ends in a countout for the second time in 2 weeks. So what's the benefit in even winning these matches then? And then we had the main event. It was AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre originally. It's built up because they're going to be wrestling. And I know McIntyre has a sword, and Lashley got his melanin. So this yeah, the be as bad. Oh god, this show sucks. VIP Lounge was there, be the audience of this matchup. McIntyre is ready with his little I'm Scottish RPM Blue Ranger promo. And the match was going okay. I mean, this wasn't a number one contenders match. This wasn't anything important. This is just, I need to face off against a regular heel so I can get my momentum before the pay-per-view. It's not even like his contendership is on the line or anything. And they barely built that over anyway. They don't build up. Your contendership can change on a hat depending on the situation. They never make that a thing anymore. And it's every goddamn time. WWE either does a gauntlet match, a 6-man tag. Oh, this is big. It's going to get everybody screen time. An 8-man tag match. You see how unimpressive WWE is. The babyface Viking Raiders came in, Lashley came around, interrupting the match, ending in a DQ and an all-right match with Styles. So it ends in a 6-man tag. Double suplex, the match was actually alright. It ends with Styles not tagging Omos because he's black. He tagged Lashley, and instead, I'm joking, I'm not making any more racist jokes. After the miscommunication with Omos and Styles, Lashley had to awkwardly come in until he got Claymore kicked, and McIntyre gets momentum for the big blow off at Hell in a Cell. No one gives a shit about this show. Clearly, I don't. I'm trying to care. This is the bare minimum. What? I don't. Hell, Lashley and McIntyre seem like they have good matches, but it's like the extent of the sell over Lashley fails. The only thing anticipating is they're finally breaking up the New Day, probably. And I don't know. That's about it. I didn't mind Eva Marie having somebody to wrestle for her. Probably later they'll do the thing that she did back on SmackDown Live. Hopefully she has another wardrobe malfunction. Because Naomi sucks. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair sucks. the mid card is quintessentially boring because they're so poorly goddamn booked. Jeff Hardy is getting so underappreciated. He's not even over as a main event conversation on the show, having these ham hock feuds with Cedric Alexander. And we had Jinder Mahal show up literally to job out Jeff Hardy literally 3 weeks ago, and he doesn't even have a vignette after showing up with AOP 2.0 or too many great Khali's. The show was a waste of time. But you already knew that. That's why you came to me, so I can give you a condensed version of how Raw was. So that's it coming from me. Hell in a Cell's gonna suck. Thanks for watching.